good morning. It's Monday morning and it is not a holiday for me. I have to go to work today, but a lot of people keep asking me what a typical day for me looks like. And so with my husband out of town, I figured this is probably the only opportunity I'm going to be able to get where I can film in the morning before work. What I'm doing is I'm letting the dogs out. I just took a shower, and then this is like the routine. I hop in the shower as soon as I get out of bed, and then I let the dogs out. So there's 3 of the 4. I can't let all 4 out at the same time, unfortunately. If the 2 boys are outside together, they'll like run away. So I have to keep the boys separated. But the girls can go out together. It's perfectly fine. Yes, this is our backyard. I have taken pictures of it before. We do have a waterfront. This is a rental. The only downside is we can't put a fence up because it's a rental. And so we look forward to having a privacy fence so that we can let the dogs loose and not have to worry about them, because sometimes they'll run off in other people's yards and it gets really bad. So at this time the dogs are eating. I usually feed Leela first, then Chance, then Dizzy, and then Chubbs. Yeah, this is kind of a process. I mean, the dogs are really good as long as you feed them in a certain order. If you feed one before the other, it might cause issues. They might fight. They might try to steal each other's food. But this seems to be the routine that works. And yes, I am just eating an avocado. If I have time, I'll make breakfast. But many times, I don't have time. Like, it's 7:15. I could probably make breakfast and still get out by 8, but I really don't want to. And usually I would use a chef knife to do this, but I think it's in the sink and I don't really want to wash it. This is my typical morning. I have like a really small breakfast because first and foremost, I don't really like breakfast food. But anyway, look at that pretty clean avocado cut. Super nice. Okay. I like to just slice into this a little bit. Put little slices. This makes it easier to eat later. And avocado is good for you. They've got a ton of monounsaturated fats, which is the good fat. And so I never really got the chance to edit or film. I did film one thing, my Milani stuff, and then it turned out bad. I'm trying another lighting setup. I'm trying 2 lights this time, but shoot, I don't think it's gonna work. Or I need to figure it out because the color is like terrible. So I don't even know. We'll figure it out tonight. I think I'm gonna do like 3 or 4 test runs, just like a minute at a time where I film, go and check the footage, film, go and check the footage until I finally get a good setup. But until then, I really don't want to post a video where I look gray or orange or weird colored, especially since I'm doing like swatches and reviews. Like, it would suck if I gave you guys crap products, so I'm gonna fix that tonight. So, funny story, and it's actually not a funny story. It's a terrible story. I think I have pink eye again. Luckily, I still have pink eye drops, and this eye, the other eye, because this was the eye that originally had the pink eye. Well, now this eye is looking red, and it was really pink and itchy and red yesterday, and I'm constantly rubbing my eyes. I need to stop doing that because I don't always wash my hands before rubbing the crap out of my eyes. I've been pretty lazy lately, and I haven't been doing my foundation routine. Just because after going on travel and doing all of that routine every morning at like 5:30 in the morning, I was like, man, this is like too much work. So lately, like Saturday and Sunday, well, yeah, Saturday and Sunday, I've only been wearing powder foundation. It's how I used to do my makeup before YouTube. I used to only wear Pure Minerals powder foundation. That was my... You guys probably don't care to see me do my makeup, but I'm liking talking this morning because my husband's not here and I have nobody to talk to. Yeah. Usually, he would be standing next to me, doing his hair, brushing his teeth, shaving, and we would just be talking about what's gonna happen during the day, whatnot. I don't know if you know this, but we used to work together, and he actually, at my last job, he was my boss. Well, he's not like my boss. Like, he doesn't approve my time card, and he doesn't see my salary or my pay. He's my lead, and by lead, he's my technical lead, meaning he's the one who gives me my projects, my assignments. He's the one who checks my work to make sure I'm doing everything properly, that He's the one who makes sure it's perfect before it goes out to the customer kind of thing, because we are both architects. And it's funny because I actually have more architecture training than my husband does. I was like formally trained by Lockheed as an architect, a system architect, which is funny because he's the one who's the lead, but he has more leadership skills than I do. He is an Air Force Academy graduate. He's definitely, I mean, we're both pretty good leads. Like when he's out, I would be his backup, not because I was his wife, but because I was, you know, the most qualified to be secondary lead. Because one, I have the leadership skills, and two, I have the most architecture experience of all the team, which is pretty sad that the 27-year-old has more architecture experience than some of the more senior engineers there. If you're wondering, I'm a system engineer for Lockheed. I do requirements. I would love to do architecture, but they don't do architecture anyway. So this is the Milani Ultrafine. I'm gonna film it tonight, so you guys will see it at some point. Either today, tomorrow, I don't even know. I don't even know when this vlog's gonna go up. I just haven't had time to edit. People ask me, they're like, how do you have all this time to do all this stuff? I don't. That's why half of my videos are like 2-3 days late, because I'll film it and it'll be great. Like I have a tutorial, I filmed it over 2 weeks ago and I still haven't posted it because I just have not had time to edit. Filming can sometimes be easier than editing depending on the complexity of the video. Like for instance, this raw review, super complex because so like the videos where I'm just doing talking videos and vlogs, those are actually super easy to edit because all I have to do is just edit out the crap. But with like reviews or like favorites and stuff, well, favorites are actually kind of easy, but reviews in particular, they're hard because you have to insert swatches, you have to take pictures, like lots of pictures. And that's more time consuming than filming sometimes, because with filming I just sit in front of the camera and talk and talk and talk and talk, and then what I don't like I just edit out. But with reviews you have to be a little bit more methodical about it, like when do you want to say this, how do you want to say that, how do you want to show an object, and then when do you want to insert a picture. So you almost have to like think about that way before you start filming, which kind of sucks. Like yesterday I sat there and I took pictures of all of the Milani products. That took me almost an hour to get each of the items set up and then taking the picture, making sure it looked okay. And it doesn't even look all that great. Like I'm not a professional photographer. And the funny part is all the pictures I took were with my iPad. Like I didn't even use a normal camera because my normal camera, the one that I'm filming with now, my Sony Cybershot, it was charging. I didn't have a battery because I used it during Universal. So those days where I'm on Twitter and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm up and it's like midnight. Yeah, I'm doing that because chances are I'm late. Like it's getting to the point where like I have to stay up really late to edit because I just don't have the time otherwise. But I guess you guys will see that today because I'm filming today, so you'll see what my typical work day is. I'm usually not this precise with mascara. I'm like usually like the only reason why I'm more precise today is because I'm not wearing any eyeshadow. My mascara really pops and you can really see my lashes. I am done with my hair. I mean, it's still kind of wet, which is fine. I let it usually finish up drying like during the day. I'm bringing my Milani stuff back into the filming room because I have to refilm it. It didn't turn out. It was like really weird. It was like greenish gray. It was odd. Anyway, I put on lipstick. I'm trying this Milani 33 Rose Amore. It's so much more bold than I'm used to, but it's such a really, really pretty color. And when I was swatching it yesterday, I'm like, I really have to try that out. So that's what I'm wearing. And if you guys saw my other vlog, my Universal vlog, I did show the latest setup for my lighting kit, so I'm not going to re-show you that. But anyway, I have to put up the dogs, and I have to put the dog bed, Chance's dog bed, into the case because he threw up on it, so I have to replace it. Okay, hey guys, so whoops. Before I head out, I wanted to do a quick outfit of the day. I'm wearing my Just Fab bamboo shoes. I'm actually going to switch into heels as soon as I get to work. They're sitting in my car. These are editor pants. They're like a navy grayish color, and they're straight leg, which are what editor pants are. And then this is a tunic from The Loft, but it's actually supposed to be worn with leggings. I don't wear it with leggings. And then it's a V-neck, so I have a Hollister ribbed tank underneath as a tank top. Okay. So, I've tried to record like 8 times now, but the problem is I'm filming on my phone because my camera is like a piece of crap. It's not a piece of crap. It's a great camera. The problem is the microphone is very sensitive, and so any like vibration, like steady vibration, like car vibration, causes really bad audio. And so I was originally filming with my Sony. It didn't work out, so now I'm filming with my phone. But anytime I get a text or an email, it like stops me from filming. It like completely shuts off the video. So every time I'd start filming, I would get a text either from a coworker or my husband, and I'm like, shoot, this is not working. Anyway, I was trying to film while I got my Starbucks. I did stop and get Starbucks this morning. It's 8:30 and I'm gonna be late to work, which is fine. And typically I take the interstate, but because I stopped to get Starbucks, I'm taking a different route, which is going to take me even longer. But I'm not really concerned because it's normal for me to get in between 9 and 9:30. And I just love Starbucks. Plus, my husband gave me a gift card, so, you know, I have to respect that and use it. I mean, not really, but it's a good excuse for me to stop and get Starbucks. I love Starbucks. I used to drink it religiously when I was in college. Every morning, I would go to Starbucks and get a caramel macchiato. And then every lunch, I would go to Chipotle and get my free student drink, because you get free drinks if you're a student or military in Colorado. And I would have Chipotle and Starbucks every day. Like, I literally live there. And I happen to be an intern for Lockheed, so essentially my income paid for Chipotle and Starbucks. Yeah, and rent and all that happy stuff, you know, the normal thing. But anyway, I stopped drinking Starbucks when I moved from Colorado to here. One, there wasn't really a Starbucks on my way to my old job, and my husband isn't really a Starbucks person. And since we carpooled, it was kind of like out of the way, and it would take time. It would make us late, kind of like now. But I was late anyway. Like, regardless of what I did, I was going to be late because I took my sweet time this morning before hopping in the shower. I should have gotten in the shower like 30 minutes earlier, but I didn't. Anyway, ever since I started my new job, I started going back to Starbucks. One, everybody at work goes to Starbucks, like it's a thing. And I didn't start going back because it was a fad, but mostly because I was having a hard time adjusting to my commute and to getting up so early, because I was used to getting up at like 7:30 and leaving the house at 8:30 and getting to work before 9. It was convenient. And now I have to leave my house by 8 if I want to get into work before 9. It's ridiculous. It sucks. And you know, we've got 4 dogs, and we live in a different place, and it was a hard transition. Plus, I'm not a car person. I don't like car rides. I'm not a traveler. I'm like the grumpiest traveler. You do not want to travel with me. I'm a big pain in the ass. And so that includes like driving. I don't like to drive. It was really nice when my husband and I worked together, because when we worked together in Colorado and we worked together here, we always carpooled, and he always drove. Whether it was his car or my car, we'd alternate for gas purposes. But really, I didn't like driving. I don't like driving, period. I don't like being in a car. I don't like being confined to a seat. And flying is the same way, except it's not, I don't have to drive. I don't have to deal with it. Someone else is doing it. You know, and for me, I am less, on larger planes, I get less motion sickness. I know, I'm like mumbling this morning. I don't get as much motion sickness in a plane as I do in a car, and I get crazy motion sickness. So for me, being in a car is just not as comfortable as being in a plane. And having to drive 45 minutes twice a day is just like, blah. I am like terrible about it. Anyway, I'm gonna be honest, this lipstick's pretty awesome. Like, none of it's getting on my straw. Like, maybe a little bit is getting on my straw, but the transfer of this lipstick is minimal. Like, it's awesome. Hopefully I'll remember that when I film my new review this afternoon. Because my review last night, I hadn't tried any of the products. I literally just like swatched it and then just did a review on the swatches. But now I can say I've used it and it's awesome. I'm a huge fan of Milani. I've been a huge fan of Milani. I have their blush, I have their powder, I have their eyeliner. They're the freaking bomb. I had never tried their lipsticks, and I'm so glad that I have them because they are bomb diggity. Yeah. So I'm like looking in the mirror, and I'm gonna be honest, like, powder foundation does not last as long as regular foundation. And I know that, and I understand that, and for work, that's fine. As long as I don't look like death, and as long as I look professional, I don't come in looking like trash. You know, people don't take you seriously when you look like trash. Especially in my age, like, if I'm not dressed appropriately, or if I'm not acting a certain way, people automatically discount anything I say, and they just assume I'm an idiot, that I'm young. That's the nature of being an engineer. And it takes a long time to gain people's respect. And eventually, it gets to the point where you've been with those people for so long that they know your work ethic, they know your capabilities, they know your abilities. And at that point, you can be immature and dumb and say stupid things as much as you want because they're not going to judge you on it. But when you're new, you really have to make a good impression. And part of that is appearance. And so, if you show up every day dressed to the nines, people will take you seriously. And if for whatever reason, like you're sick one day and you come in looking like death, then people will understand, oh, that's not how she is normally. Like, that's just an off day. Like, she's either sick, not feeling well, something bad happened. You know, they understand that. But if you constantly come in looking like trash, then they'll make this opinion of you that you are just a trashy person or that you're lazy. I typically drive 5 over the speed limit when, like, any other day. But for the days that I'm driving to work, I tend to drive like 10 over because it just shortens my drive that much. That much is enough for me to speed. And I'm usually pretty cautious. I like to like look around and make sure there aren't any like cops around. So, and I'm not encouraging anybody to speed. I don't recommend you do it. In fact, like I said, I typically only go 5 over. I cruise control everywhere because I don't like getting tickets. I don't like getting pulled over. I don't like, you know, having to explain myself to a cop because really I have no good excuse other than I was speeding because I didn't want to drive to work. Not a very good excuse. You know, I do these vlogs because sometimes I feel like there's a lot of things on my mind that I want to talk about but never get the opportunity to talk about because it's not really beauty related. It's just like me hypothesizing or theorizing in my head and I just want to like get it out there. But it's funny because I never actually sit down and do it because every time I've ever tried, it ends up being like a 45-minute video because I just keep repeating the same thing over and over again because I have no idea how to articulate what's going on in my head. I'm not the best. I'm fine at public speaking. Like, I don't get nerves and I do great in front of crowds and stuff, but for some reason, when I'm on camera, I feel like an idiot. Like, all those blonde jokes, I feel like I'm that blonde, and I'm not even blonde. But when I'm at work, it's completely different. I'm very clear, precise, crisp. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I know what I need to do. I mean, I was a straight-A student in high school. I graduated with a 3.1 out of college, which isn't very good. But for an engineering student, it's pretty darn badass because it's hard as heck to do engineering. And I'll talk about that in my Q&A because Brandy from Brandy Loves Beauty actually asked me a question about my engineering background. So I'll talk more about that in that video, which will be like 2 weeks from now. But pretty much, engineering is hard as heck. And yes, you do have to be pretty smart to be an engineer. There are some dumb engineers, and by dumb, I mean they have no common sense, but they're book smart brilliant. So some of the best engineers have no social skills. And yeah, I think I'm a really good engineer. That's really cocky for me to say, but I was even just talking to my manager about it. And every year you get evaluated. And every year I have always excelled. I've always been a 5 out of 5 because I think I'm a good engineer. I think very logically. I am very hardworking. I have the mind of an engineer, and I want to thank my dad for that because my dad's an engineer, and he's kind of trained myself and my brother to think like engineers. We don't just think about things, like we think about them very analytically. We always try to make sure that we're doing things efficiently. We go above and beyond certain aspects of life, like something as simple as like putting away clothes. If you can do it in a certain manner and make it efficient and multitask and do multiple things at the same time, then you're going to be able to get 3 times as much work done in the same amount of time. And things like that, most people don't think that way. But not only do I think that way at work, but I think that way at home. And so people who ask me, how in the heck do you work 9 hours a day, drive an hour and a half every single day, go to choir practice, cook for your husband, do laundry, film and edit? Really, I sleep about 6 to 7 hours a night because I sleep in. I go to bed at midnight and I sleep till like 7. So I get like 7 hours of sleep. I get a decent amount of sleep. Most people only get like 4 hours of sleep, and I'm like, how did you do nothing and get only 4 hours of sleep? Maybe you should spend more time sleeping and not doing nothing. And the reason why is because, like I said, my husband and I are very efficient. We're not, anytime we're doing anything, chances are we're multitasking. We're doing multiple things at the same time, and we're not just doing one thing, which is why I'm able to do all the things that I do. I'm able to work. I'm able to cook dinner. I'm able to do this and that and this and that. Like, for instance, while the dogs were eating, I was making breakfast so that by the time they were done, I could go and finish getting ready. And I was eating my avocado while I was doing my makeup. So I'm doing 2 things at once. And many people multitask throughout the day and don't realize it. The only difference between my husband and I is not only do we realize it, but we plan it and it's intentional. And because of that, we're able to get so much more done. And I think that's why my husband and I get along so well versus my ex-husband, because he and I think on the same wavelengths. We're both engineers, so we both have like that engineering mindset of doing business, whether at work or at home. And it's just that's how I think. That's how life works for me, and that's how I get things done. And so if people are like, how do you do it? It's not that I don't get any sleep, because I do get sleep. I love my sleep. But I just do a lot. I just multitask. And anybody can do it. It's just you gotta think about it. You gotta plan it. You gotta expect it. It has to be a part of your lifestyle. It has to be a part of your routine. If you're not used to it, it's hard as heck. It's confusing and can be very frustrating. And some people can get anxiety from it. It can actually make your life kind of stressful if you're trying to do too much at once, but eventually you get better at it. I mean, I do have very stressful moments where I'm just like, dude, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then I pass out. It's usually on Sunday, like yesterday that happened. I went to bed at 10. I never go to bed at 10. I usually go to bed at like midnight. So yeah, definitely tired. Oh shoot. I'm at the gate, and I have like 8 badges, and I can't find the right badge. There it is. I got the right badge. Okay. Hi, good morning.
Have a blessed day.
You too, thank you. If you didn't know, I work at the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. I support the Navy. I'm a contractor for Lockheed Martin. And yeah, our customer is the Navy. Even though we're on an Air Force station, the wharf out here, which is part of the Air Force Station, supports the Navy mission. I am going to film a video about a program, a charity program that my company is supporting. So in that video, I'll talk a little bit more about what I do, what my company does, what this charity is about. It's St. Baldrick's, if you've ever heard of it. It's a foundation that raises money to cure children's cancer. It's a really awesome program. Lockheed is wonderful about supporting charities, especially local charities. They do a lot of local charity work, which is awesome. But this one in particular, I feel like I want to like help out and get the word out there. So I'm going to do a video on that. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I need to do it soon because the actual event is the beginning of March, where a bunch of people are going to shave their head and raise money for finding the cure for children's cancer. So anyway, I'm actually on base. I can't film at work. It's not allowed. So I won't be able to show you what's going on. I can take a picture of my desk, because you can take pictures at work, but I can't really film because of the nature of the business that we do, because we support the government. I can't really talk about what I do. I have a security clearance for that reason. Yep, it is actually 9 o'clock exactly. I'm actually on time. What crazy shiz is that? Like, I can't even believe that stuff. That is crazy. Hey guys, so I am now leaving work. It is 6:13, so I've done my 9 hours. I did not take a lunch break and I did not pick up lunch, so I ended up just snacking all day, which is fine because, you know, as far as my caloric intake's concerned, that's not a bad thing because then I'm not overeating. And honestly, for diabetics especially, which I'm not diabetic, but a lot of the females in my family are, you know, it's good to just eat like 6 really small meals a day versus like eating 3 really big meals for the purpose of your body, like breaking down the sugars and, you know, having a good balance to your diet. Oh, by the way, that pink lipstick, it lasted all day long. I actually just removed it like not too long ago because apparently I kept licking my lips, so like the center was kind of bare, and so it was really weird, and I didn't bring the lipstick with me, so I couldn't like touch it up or anything like that. So I went ahead and I just like removed it like not too long ago. But everywhere else it was like super pigmented all the way there. It was there the entire day, even though I like had my tea and I had a can of soda. Like, it stayed on the entire time, which was pretty awesome. Anyway, the sun's going down really quick, so I don't know if I can really vlog this entire drive like I did this morning, but at least you guys can see what's going on. Like I said, I work 9 hours a day. I drive 45 to work, 45 to home, and then on a typical day, I just go straight home, prep for dinner, feed the dogs, walk them, make dinner for myself and my husband, and then at that point, I can either film or edit, but usually by the time that's all done, it's already like 8:30, close to 9 by the time we eat dinner, so we eat really crazy late. It's getting dark, so, and I'm still on base. I haven't even gotten off of base. Like, that's why part of my drive is so long. Like, getting from the gate to my office is like 7 minutes in itself, and then getting to the gate from my house is like 35 minutes. So, you know, like I said, it's anywhere between 35 minutes and 45 minutes depending on traffic. It's just super ridiculous. But yeah, so I guess I'll see you when I get home. Hey guys, so I'm home. I'm filming on my phone. My iPad is actually dying. And I just marinated my chicken thighs with this Casey Masterpiece marinade. This is in honey teriyaki. This is my favorite. I typically, if my husband's here, I'll make my own marinade, which is like balsamic vinegar, brown sugar, honey, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, and then some garlic and parsley. But when it's just me, I just use the really easy marinade, and I have my bowl of chicken thighs. They were frozen, they defrosted today, and I have them marinating. I'm going to let that do its thing for 30 minutes. I have leftover mushrooms, mashed potatoes from Valentine's Day, so I'm going to use that as my side, and then I'm just going to eat it with chicken thighs and call it a day. But while that is doing its thing, I am actually going to go and redo all of my makeup and my hair so that I can film my Milani. I'm still in my work clothes, so I really need to change before I do all of this because I don't want to get dog hair on my pants. Pretty much, if I film, I'm more than likely wearing pajama pants because if I'm walking around the house, the dogs rub up against my legs, and so I kind of have to be in bottoms that I don't mind getting dirty. So I'm going to go ahead and get changed. I'm going to do my hair. I'm going to do my makeup. Okay, so I have all my stuff prepped. I'm about to film again. This is like the 3rd attempt. I think the lighting is okay. I'm noticing that it's a little gray in the camera, and so I'm like, oh yeah. Ooh, yeah, I'm trying to figure out the lighting. I'm having like a hard freaking time. If I have my hand right here, it seems to work perfectly fine, but as soon as I put my hand down, it like washes out my face. So, yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out. I have my stuff set up. I actually have one of those food trays in front of me, in front of my chair, so that I could access everything, because I was trying to film by reaching everything on the side, and it was just like not working out. So hopefully this will be better. I'm going to try to film real quick, but the dogs are barking. See you guys. So I'm done filming, and this red lipstick is like super duper red. I did end up trying out every single lipstick. I wasn't going to originally, but then I decided to do it anyway. In between filming, I actually left the room, came and put the chicken in the oven, and then flipped it, came back and did all that stuff. I didn't get a chance to film it. But this is the chicken. It's really simple. All I did was marinate it, and then I put it on the oven, let it bake with the marinade, flipped it over, kind of brushed on the marinade some more, and then cooked it again. I did it for 10 minutes on each side at 350 degrees, and that's all I do. It's really easy, really healthy. It's boneless, skinless chicken thighs, so there's not a lot of issues as far as like having all the fattiness and stuff. But anyway, I'm picking up the dog bowls because they keep like pawing at it like I didn't just feed them and already give them water. They're like being super needy, and it's inappropriate. They're not supposed to do that. They know they're not allowed to do that, but I think they're being buttheads because daddy's not home. Anyway, oh, if you're weirded out by that, my husband gets weirded out when I call him daddy in public, because we're mommy and daddy to these dogs, and so I'll call him daddy, he'll call me mommy, and he'll be like, oh, kids, go to your mommy, and oh, kids, go to your daddy. You know, they know us as mommy and daddy, and so I'll call him daddy sometimes. Anyway, I am going to go ahead and attempt to edit a little bit, and once that's done, I'm going to eat while I'm editing. I'm actually not hungry right now, and I might film. This is what my normal day looks like. I come home, feed and walk the dogs, I make dinner, I edit or film, and then go to bed. I mean, this is pretty much how it goes. Like I said, it's almost 9 o'clock, so it's a pretty busy day. Anyway, I'm going to try to edit. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.